This is for the local drivers at LEMO Fox Mini-Z. I'm not going to be able to race tomorrow, Friday. So I'm going to share setup tips that I noticed in most of the guys' cars, the 2500 and also 3500, but we're going to talk about 2500. The 2500 pinion has to be 13 tooth, hard body. You can run Lexan roof and Lexan spoiler. First thing I do is to make sure that the diameter of the wheels are at least even on both sides. If they're not, make sure the tallest one goes on the left side. If this is taller than this side, switch them around. Run the tallest one on this side and the smaller diameter on the right side. Same goes for the rear. If they're not even, use the taller diameter on the left side, left rear, and the smallest one on the right rear. Second one is to check your ride height. Here, 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 and then here. I use 1.9, but you can do 2 up to 2.2 millimeter. And lowest is probably 1.8, but I would stick to 1.9 or 2.0. Front and the back, even. I measured mine here, this side in the front, and here. Okay, make sure that the screw, these two, are not sticking out of the chassis, because if it is, and you're measuring it here and this is sticking out, then the ride height is off. That means the screw can actually hit the track before the chassis would. So if you're measuring here and the measurement is 1.9 and the screw is actually sticking out, your actual ride height is probably 1.5. So just make sure that this is even as possible. Yeah, this is reflex racing screws, so make sure that they're flush. If they're not flush and you're local, unfortunately I'm not there on Friday, but next Friday I will be. Come up to me and I'll give you some of the reflex racing screws. Okay, so that's the second, is for the ride height, make sure that it's even front and rear. Third, oh, by the way, when you measure the ride height, make sure the battery is on. Okay, third is the body. This is actually very common. When you have the ride height set, turn the wheel. First check I do is I turn it to the left and push the front end down to make sure that the front lip, this one, is not hitting the track. Most cars on the track, the front bumper is rubbing on the RCP track. And do the same on the other side. Push it down and then let it roll. The front bumper, this is my car bottomed out. Okay, it's not hitting the pit board. What's hitting is this chassis, this part of the chassis, not this. If this is hitting the track or your pit board, when you do this, use a Dremel and remove some materials. Okay, or you can use the bumper to raise it up. With the reflex racing, you can shim it to raise the clip up a little bit, just this part. Okay, I would just shave it. Okay, next is, fourth one is to make sure that the front wheel is not sticking out too much. What I have here is a 0.5 millimeter offset. If you're running 0, put a 0.5 millimeter shim, which is this one. Okay, if you're running 0, you can go up to 0.5 millimeter on this side and on that side. Don't use 1 millimeter offset. you're gonna break a servo with the 1mm offset. Okay, so that's fourth. Fifth is to make sure that the side skirt, the rear side skirt, is at least 3mm when you slide this under just the side skirt. I'm not measuring the chassis here. See, mine is like 3.1. If yours is not on both sides, okay? If yours is not 3mm, trim it with the Dremel, or check it first. When you push down on the car, make sure it's not hitting the body on the pit board, okay? This may sound like it's hitting the side skirt, but it's actually not. What you're hearing is this chassis, this part of the chassis. This is the one that's actually hitting that sound. That's the chassis hitting, okay? Same goes for the other side. When you push it down, make sure the side skirt is not hitting. See that? It's clear. What's hitting though, I can feel it, it's dragging, is this part of the chassis. And this is the reason why I measured the ride height here. Okay? The fifth one is the rear wheels not hitting the rear windows. So the fifth one is to make sure that this back two wheels are not hitting the rear window. So push it down. If I push down on the rear bumper, you can hear that that's the chassis hitting the pit board. And then I lift it just a little bit, maybe 0.5 millimeter, and then I push it forward, push it back and forth. There's no resistance. Okay, I'm gonna push it all the way down. That's the chassis. If I lift it 0.5 mil, push it down all the way, lift it 0.5 mil, somewhere around there, there's no resistance, okay? You wanna check your car to make sure that the back wheels are not rubbing here and on this side, okay? Because when the car leans, it's gonna start rubbing on here. You don't want that, okay? And I see this locally, okay? Happens to some of the guys' cars. Okay, so to fix that, again, it's too late to redo the side clip, so just go ahead and Dremel this side, okay? How I have mine mounted, the side clips, I put 1mm shim inside, and then I glued it. I know I double stacked it to make the side clips just a little stronger, and so that I have a tighter fit when I put it on the chassis. If I don't double stack it, the body is a little loose, so when I get hit, the body just easily comes off. Now I race without, sometimes, not all the time, I can race without using tape. It's just a club race, so it doesn't matter for me. But it doesn't easily come off, okay? That's the reason why the side clips are double stacked on mine. So yes, that's the setup tips. Is there any more? Trying to think if there's any more that I can add, because I'm not going to be able to race tomorrow. I think that's it. Oh yeah, the tires. I'm running Marka 15s slicks, number 5 degrees in the back. You can also run 10. I have a lot of 5s, and that's the reason why I'm running 5 slicks. And I don't have that many 10s, so I'm going to save the 10s for my mod and the 5s for this car. But this car can run even worn out Marka 15 radios. However, tomorrow the track is the same layout, but it's going to be dusty because the track was taken down, and then it's going to be put back together tomorrow. So it's going to be dusty, and you're going to need traction in the back. So best to use Marka 5s slicks that are brand new. In the front, use the one that you already have. If you have to break one in, use PN Racing KS 1142. That's right, 1142 on a 20 millimeter front wheels. That will give you a little bit of understeer. Okay, well, when it's brand new, you'll get a lot of traction. Then it'll eventually break in. Then you get a slight understeer. If you want a little bit more steering, then you go with 19 millimeters in the front with KS 1042. That's the full size tires, but on a 19 millimeter wheels. Okay, let me repeat that again. If you want the car to understeer a little bit, but still has more steering than your current tire setup, the old tires that you have right now, you want to get the 20 millimeter with 1142. And if that's not enough steering for you, you want a little bit more, go with 19 millimeters in the front with 1042s. With 1042s, not glued, only tape. No gluing on the sidewall, just tape. Okay, the back is also just tape. Okay, you don't need to glue it. Oh, you know what? I take that back. This is Marka 5 slicks, so these are glued. Yep, Marka 5 slicks in the back are glued. If it's Marka 15s, they will be taped. Marka 5 slicks, they tend to fold because they're sticky. They tend to fold even if you use the tape. The Kyosho Route 246 double-sided tape. Okay, so don't use the tape if you're running the Marka 5 slicks, or Marka 5 radials. Use glue. You'll have to glue it if you don't want it to fold. Okay? For the 3500, let's worry about the 2500. I think the 2500 is the biggest class right now. So yeah, okay, that's it for this video. Thanks.